Good evening, good morning, good afternoon, good day, wherever you are. Stephen here, back with another video. Manchester City tomorrow are playing Leyton Orient in the FA Cup, or this morning when you're watching this, and this should be a really fun game of football. I can't wait for it, I really can't. I've got a feeling this could be one of the more memorable 11s that we've seen in a long time lined up for City tomorrow, and there's loads of potential angles, loads of potential narratives, which is always what makes fun football for me. I love a good story, and football is at its best when there's stories, and there's lots. Could Oscar Bobb return for Manchester City? Could NICO O'Reilly start again at left back like he did against Salford and have a masterclass? Could VITOR REIS make his debut? Could Marmoush play as a striker instead of Haaland? Could NICO GONZALEZ make his debut? I don't know. Could Khusanov play for the first time since Chelsea? There's so many things to discuss. Could Divine Mbaba get a start up front as well through the middle? Could James McAtee play as the 10? I don't know. But there's loads and loads of things to talk about, which could lead to a very exciting game of football. And there's also the narrative behind how important this game is and how much you want to rest people, given that Real Madrid are coming up. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting. Kevin, I was just winding you up in the chat, mate. I thought you said you're late, and I was like, it just like 10 seconds past half past. I was like, you are demanding there. I was only winding you up there. Hello to Kevin, to Ahmed, to the Formidables, to Yusuf, to Pep, not the Pep, and Winbane, and also, exactly. Hello to you guys in the chat. Please give the video a like. Please subscribe if you are new to the channel. It would mean the world to me. I'm on 72,000 subscribers now. So we keep going. I want to aim for 100,000 before I die. That's my aim. I won't be doing this forever. I'm not stupid. But if I can get there before I die, I'll take that, you know. Let's get to 100,000 subscribers before I die. Yay! That's my aim, you know. I might get there eventually. It's took me like 8 years to get to 72,000. So what? A few years left? I don't know. We can do that. There we go. Get that training. Get Stephen to 100,000 subscribers before he dies. There we go. It's a catchy hashtag for you there. Hi, David. Imagine that was actually David Silva in the chat just waffling away. Yeah, exactly, Winbane. There we go. So, yeah, this is going to be a really interesting game of football. Leyton Orient, we don't know much about them. They are currently sat 6th in the Football League 1, which is the old Division 2, the third tier of English football. They're a good side, allegedly. I don't know much about them. I'm not going to sit here and pretend I know loads about who they are and all that kind of stuff. I do know they're managed by Richie Wellens, who was at Blackpool for years. I remember that. He was an ex-United youth player. I just know him because he's been around lower league football for an awful long time. I'll have a look how they got on in the previous round and how they got to where they are right now. They beat Derby County on penalties, actually. So, yeah, Derby County once of the Premier League, now in the Championship, I think. Are they in the Championship? I'm saying that with in raised inflection in my voice because I'm not sure these days. I presume they are. I didn't even check to think, but I would guess they would do. So, yeah, either way, they got there via the FA Cup by penalty shootout with after a 1-1 draw. And they're on a very impressive streak right now, Leyton Orient. Bottom of the Championship. Oh, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Thanks, mate. I presume the Championship, but like these teams go up and down so often these days. I just never know, you know. And maybe if they are bottom of the Championship, maybe that's where my head was at. They're about to be, you know. So I wasn't wrong. Technically, they were just, yeah, I was ahead of myself, if anything. I'm just too smart. I saw the future. It's easily done, you know. So yeah. So they beat Derby anyway. Before that, you know, they've had a run of games recently where, let me go back. I'll bring it up on screen actually. This is their run of games, Leyton Orient. They lost to Stockport the other day, but before that it was how many games? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 15 games unbeaten before that, and with a whole bunch of clean sheets as well, which was very impressive. They were on a really good run of form, you know. This is the last game they lost against Stockport. According to Google, they played a 4-2-3-1 formation. Don't know much about any of these players. I'm not going to pretend I do. Ultimately, I don't know how seriously they're going to take it. I suspect they will do. The mighty Stockport, yeah, they've already played one bunch of Burts. Now they're off to. I was on about Derby County in Championship, not Leyton Orient, the previous opponents. So I'm aware they're in League One. So yeah, look, they're a team to reasonably take seriously. We'll go over to Guardiola's press conference quotes. Guardiola talked about NICO GONZALEZ. I've heard, by the way, that he's going to be referred as Nico. Not Nico Gonzalez, just Nico. So there you go. So expect eventually, I can't wait for that because it's easier on thumbnails for my videos. But eventually he's going to be just Nico in the way that Rodri's just Rodri, not Rodrigo Cascante. Rodrigo Hernandez Cascante. He's going to be just Nico. So eventually that SEO reasons that'll change just to Nico. For now, he's Nico Gonzalez. So that's what's going to be happening anyway. Guardiola said, really important. It's a position that we were weak after the absence from Rodri. A young player, 23 years old, can play number 6 and number 8 and more in the pockets. Physicality, he's a strong young boy. I know him from Barcelona at the academy and his father was working here. I'm really pleased from the effort of the club to bring him here for the next few years. Yeah, I am too. Look, the more I think about Nico Gonzalez, the more he looks like a perfect fit for Manchester City. I'm convinced that this guy is going to be an excellent signing. You look at his stats and the way he played a few years back, he was a deep-lying number 6, your typical regista. Deep-lying playmaker who did the defensive stuff. You look at him at Porto, he was a more box-to-box player, a lot more aggressive, where he learned to defend a little bit better. Maybe he learned the physicality a bit more. He learned how to assert himself aerially and get forward and influence games. More of a Declan Rice kind of profile, whereas at Barcelona, he was very Busquets, very Rodri. Same with Valencia on loan as well. So you've got a guy who sort of can do both things really well. I think we're going to be surprised how much he adapts to the number 6 role. I think Guardiola is going to unlock that latent Spanish trait that he's got of controlling games from deep. I think we're going to see him do 80, 90, 100 passes before we know it. Not just the 30, 40 a game that he was doing at Porto, because we play a very different way. And I can't wait to see how he gets on. I think he's absolutely going to start tomorrow. I think it's a given. I think Guardiola must be very excited to get this young guy in who can genuinely change our game. He talked about Leyton Orient. He said, yeah, of course they'll bring trouble. Always have had problems away in this competition. FA Cup or Carabao Cup. Away to teams in the Championship or League 1, even League 2. Always we struggle. But ready for the challenge. Every game is a new opportunity. Yeah, I mean, largely take it seriously. He's right. Absolutely, he's right. We shouldn't struggle if we play well. But when you don't take it seriously, you can do, He talked about Jack Grealish and other players. He said, I'm so sorry they don't get the minutes that maybe they deserve, but at the end, the contributions from Jeremy or Savinho have been massive this season. This is the only reason why. It's not personal, or I don't like Jack, or I don't have confidence in him. Of course, when you play one player more minutes than the other, you have more confidence right now. But I know his attributes. It's just for the fact that for the impact of one of the big news this season is Savinho. It's his first season. He's impacting goals, assists. Last game at Arsenal made an incredible step up defensively and challenging duels, and this is the reason why. So Guardiola's essentially come out and said to Jack Grealish, these guys deserve it more than you. It's literally a case of that. Now, it depends what you think about Jack Grealish. I know a lot of people love Jack Grealish, and he's been a big part of City over the past few years. To me, the writing feels on the wall right now that Jack is elsewhere. I think he is. I think he'll be moving on. I think City, with his age profile as well, he's 29 years old now, so he's not that young anymore. Yeah, I think Jack will be moving on potentially in the summer. When you've got, look, Marmoush should be ahead of him. Doku is, Savinho currently. Oscar Bobb, I think, will end up ahead of him too. Phil Foden's ahead of him. I just don't see it. I think Jack has struggled since the treble. By his own admission, he felt like the pinnacle of his career. He doesn't know where to go from there. And I think we're seeing... I think they're seeing the end of Jack Grealish's career, because I think these guys are offering more than what we need right now. And what we need right now is goal contributions from our wingers. Guardiola said the manager has to sometimes select one player in front of another, not just because you don't like the other one, but because a player can give you in a certain moment of season right now better. No more than that. And of course, to make mistakes, maybe you should play in other games, or maybe players you play shouldn't, but it's my world, my life, and you have to accept it. Essentially, he just said, I'm the boss, bitch, shut up. In a polite way, a very respectful way, but he's right. Ultimately, he lives and dies by the Guardiola sword, and he's made some mistakes recently. He has admitted that. Very visible, potentially damaging ones, The call to not invest in the summer or not restart the squad after the treble, that was Guardiola's. He was the one pushing for that, and it's cost him. Maybe the leaning on older senior players and so on, having his favourites. He will be the first to admit he makes mistakes, and maybe he's made some. But ultimately, Guardiola can never doubt his convictions, because ultimately... He's brought him so far in football that he'd be silly not to. And I think he's absolutely right. Is there a reason I'm not on the South Stand channel? No, not really. I don't really. I think it's... Who runs that? I don't know who runs that. I think it's just because I don't know who runs it, to be honest. I don't know who runs it, basically. But no, not really. I think it's because I'm not really in with Big Steve and that. Not in a bad way. He's a nice bloke, but I never really chatted too much, if that makes sense. So just that reason alone. But yeah, no other reason than that, to be honest. I'm sure I probably won't be one day. Yeah, but anyway, moving on. Guardiola said, yeah, my job is my job. I'd have to do what I believe and try and be honest with myself. Yeah. So the players took a rest as well this week, Guardiola confirmed, which was needed. He also had some massive news. He confirmed that Ruben Diaz, Jeremy Doku, Edison and Nathan Ake are all back in training. That is wonderful news, which brings the list of injuries down to who? Is it literally just Rodri now at that point? Like, is there anyone else out? I can't really think. Someone confirm if that's it. But I think everyone's back, which is wonderful. The squad is getting full. The squad is getting fit. And to me, that is exciting, you know? I can't wait to see how we get on, you know, and how it goes. But it looks to me like it could be a really, really fresh squad, an exciting squad, which is it's ridiculous, and I'm very excited for it. I'm genuinely excited for it. I think it could be very exciting to see how this City side, you know, looks when everyone's available. So that's massive news. Yeah, so that's sort of the end of that. There'll be more news later on. Let's go on to, like, you know, how we could line up and so on. I think this is the thing that I'm quite excited about. If you start to think about how you could play, you've got to bear in mind, these are the factors. We've got Real Madrid. Real Madrid is in a few days. The games that we've got coming up, you know, we look at our fixtures. As much as you know, we want to go through, I don't think City will be taking this anywhere near as seriously as you'd think. I'll show you the fixtures. This is just the fourth round of the FA Cup, so it's still very early on, you know, only the second tie of it. You've got Madrid, you've got Newcastle, a few days after Madrid. You've got Madrid again, then you've got Liverpool, then Spurs away, then Forest and Brighton. It's ugly. It's truly ugly, that run of fixtures. It's truly ugly. So I think Guardiola is looking at any chance he can to make a rest and get people bedded in. He'd be stupid, in my opinion, to not take this. I think he should go for a very changed side. Do you want to see what I would love him to do? This is what I want him to do. I want him to put Ortega in goal already, whoever, I don't really care. I want him to put O'Reilly at left back like he did against Salford. I want him to play Vitor Reis. I want him to play Khusanov. Get Rico Lewis in at that side. Over here, I want to see... I don't know, maybe Savinho, potentially? Or maybe will be this. I want to see Gonzalez. I want Kovacic rested. I want maybe Bernardo rested. So that means Gundogan for his experience. These two there. Get McAtee over here. This could be over here. Oscar Bobb to return. And then potentially Obama or what's it called? Marmoush. One of those two. I want to see something like that. Rico needs a game, mate, because you've got to rotate players here. So I want to see something like this. I want to see a team like that where you get the young lads in, you get the new lads in, and I know it'll be difficult. I'm not stupid, but I do feel if you get something like that, you potentially you get all the players rested. That means then you've got Edison rested, Ake, Stones, Akanji, Diaz, Vardial, the Kovacic, Bernardo Silva, Foden, De Bruyne, Haaland. You've got a whole 11. Maybe Grealish can come in. Maybe it'll be Grealish, actually. Yeah, it'll be Grealish. I forgot about Grealish, actually. Sorry, Jack. It'll be that. It'll be something like that, I reckon. Well, that's what I would do. I think, yeah, Jack. I forgot about Grealish, to be honest, mate. Sorry, Jack. It'll be Jack Grealish. What I think will happen... So let me go and show you something. City put on their Instagram... I saw it because I know a mate posted it. Where's it gone? That I actually agree. A guy said this will probably be the lineup tomorrow, and I actually think this is probably true. Squad goals. That was the team that won in training. Tell me that isn't the starting lineup potentially. I think that is. You know, I think that's the starting lineup. So you've got Stones, you've got O'Reilly, Akanji, Ortega, Gonzalez, McAtee, Savinho, Bernardo, Jack, Rico and Khusanov. That is a lot. That is a lot of first team players. But would you be surprised if that's not a starting lineup tomorrow? It's very Guardiola. It's very Guardiola to do that. I want him to start Vitor Reis and Khusanov. I want him to. But I think that might be the starting lineup. I think they've split the team into two. There's enough players there, including, I would say, O'Reilly, Ortega, Nico, Khusanov, Rico, Jack, and James. There's like 7 of those you would argue would not play. And you're right, Stones needs a rest. But what could happen, put that into a team that is O'Reilly there, or maybe O'Reilly's in midfield. So that is how many defenders there? It'll probably be Rico. It'll probably be Rico Lewis here. Maybe O'Reilly plays. Maybe Rico plays in midfield. If you had that as a team, who would be up front? McAtee would be up front, wouldn't he? McAtee would be up front if that was a team. You'd have Grealish out that way. It would be Savinho over here. I'm just trying to work out how that would... No, maybe... Then I'm trying to work out how that would be as a team. I think that would be... NICO GONZALEZ would play. Bernardo in the centre as well, potentially. Silva, and then... Or maybe it'll be this. Sort of like Silva in midfield and O'Reilly down here. Sort of like this or something. And then, if this is the team, I think it'd be Rico Lewis over here. Then Stones and a Kanji. Could be that. Unless Rico Lewis plays in midfield and O'Reilly plays left back. So I think it could be that. Stones could also get a job in midfield, which would then leave O'Reilly at left back, and these guys shift over, and then you could have Stones in midfield, Rico there, O'Reilly sort of inverting a little bit as Gonzalez gets forward, and you sort of do that. You know, you could have something like that potentially. Nico and Nico, yeah. But I think that could be the team tomorrow. I think there's something in that potentially. I want Guardiola to... Yeah, maybe a Hanji doesn't. Who's on the other side of that then? So who's on the other side of that? Who's not available on that picture there? So you've got... It'd be Edison, Nunes... VITOR REIS, I don't know, Simpson Pusey, Kanji, no, so Diaz or Ake. Then you'd have De Bruyne, Haaland, a lot of senior players. A lot of senior players you would had a half time. Marmoush, of course, yeah, as well. So I reckon it's going to be something like that. But that's what I want to see. I'm very excited for this. I also feel as well we've got to be realistic about what this competition means for us. I know we could potentially win the FA Cup, but I don't think we should. I think the only target this season, has to be top four. I think it has to be. And if you get a chance to rest players, go for it. You could argue that this FA Cup is great. It's an excuse to rest players, but if we draw teams of Leyton Orient's quality, we should be able to rest players. And it's also an excuse to bet in the new lads. Marmoush, Khusanov, Nico, VITOR, they should be playing. Oscar Bobb, if he returns, should be playing, you know, because it's an excuse to use them. It's an excuse to rest players, while also being a nice little resting point, because you get a weekend off because it's a Saturday game, isn't it? The FA Cup or a Sunday, whatever. It's a weekend game. So there's an excuse to do that, basically. And I feel for me, what we could have is a real good go at the FA Cup if we get further on later on. But that's what I think we got to be realistic about this competition. Essentially, I want Guardiola just to sort of not throw it, but just be like, I'm going to rotate. I'm going to use the young lads. I'm going to use the new starters, get them up to speed. Just whatever happens. And if we need to bring on some players against Leyton Orient, if it feels a bit much for the young lads, so be it. But I want him to do that because I don't see the point not, you know. I think at this point, we have to be realistic about what we can achieve this season. And I think the top four has to be the aim. I don't want Guardiola playing Diaz, Ake, Doku, or Stones, or a Kanji. None of those should be playing. Haaland shouldn't be touching the pitch. Bernardo Silva shouldn't be touching the pitch. Kovacic shouldn't be touching the pitch. De Bruyne shouldn't be touching the pitch against Leyton Orient. I just don't see the point, man. Saturday, then to Madrid. I know it's at home, but I just don't see the point. And you know what? Imagine the benefit we get if somehow we manage to do something as well against... Real Madrid. It'd be phenomenal. You know. So, yeah, I would be buzzing. So that's what I want to do. I want to get through this, you know, and see where we're at. But that's what I will go for. I don't know how you know we'll line up. I don't know how we'll play or what score it will be. But I'm pretty confident, man. Like I'm pretty confident that we should be able to we should win. I'm really loving the everyone being back, by the way. I mean, I'll go back over here. Let's see if we go through this now and just sort of build up the depth now. I'll just do it on here so you guys can see. So we've got Edison, Ortega. The depth looks really good. Current right backs is Nunes or that. It's like really good. No, I'll do it over on here. So we got Ed, Ortega. And over left back, it'd be Yosko. I'm going to put Ake there for now because we've got too many players. Diaz. Stones. I'll put Kanji. I've got so many players, man. I'm actually going to put... There's too many. There's just too many. Is there anywhere you can put like a whole bunch of players on? We've got an awful lot of players now. So that would be a Kanji or Reis or Khusanov. You got Lowe's, you got Luz and Nunez. So many footballers now. It's great. Nico, Gundo. That would be Jack, Doku. So many footballers. KDB, Phil, Foden, Haaland, Marmoush. I'm putting him up there for now. I know you're playing on the side. I'm going to put Savini over here just because it's easy to fit them all on. Like, the options are really good now. This would be Silva and... Who else have I missed there? I missed someone, haven't I? Cover. So, and there's also, not on there, McAtee's not on there, O'Reilly's not on there. It's just so many. It's good. Like, there's an whole bunch of options there now. You've got McAtee, O'Reilly not on there too. Who else have I missed off? Simpson Pusey. Yeah, I like it. I like all the options we've got. We've got a variety of options now. The depth looks pretty decent. And I'm starting to see something that you could put as a... It's hard. I can't really fit O'Reilly and McAtee on because there's not enough space in terms of the writing text. But I like it, man. It looks pretty good. The squad's filling out now. Get Rodri back into this and you start to see... Echeverry's coming as well. Echeverry's coming in. I'm very excited, man. We might be a bit of a project side for the next year or two, by the way. That's one thing I'm prepared for. Mabama's a striker as well. I don't know. It's very good. Scott Carson. Sorry, lads. I think we're going to win this. A prediction feels wild because I don't know what the team's going to be. I've got no idea. I think it'll end up being comfortable and fun. It might be a 2-1 or something like that, but I think we will win. I just want to see... I want to see the few things. I want to see Khusanov and Reis and Gonzalez get minutes. I want to see Oscar Bobb return. Marmoush too would be great, but ultimately I want to see those players return. I want to see McAtee get a start. It's a big game for him, you know. I want to see Nico O'Reilly get a start as well. I want to see the senior players nowhere near the bench, you know, nowhere near the pitch, and just stay off if possible. I will be live tomorrow on Big Up as always for my watch along. It would be massively appreciated if you go and check it out and join me for that live. The link is in the description. I'll see you tomorrow at bang on midday. Join me for that. It should be an awful lot of fun. Hopefully we'll enjoy ourselves. For now though, if you want to watch some good content, I would recommend go check it out. The video I did on Khusanov. If you haven't already watched it, it was good stuff. Everything You Need to Know series on Khusanov or Gonzalez, I meant to say, Marmoush. It's been really good fun doing those videos. Guys, thanks for watching. I love you all loads, and I'll leave it there. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, give the video a like, and have a wonderful Friday evening. I'll see you tomorrow for the watch along. Up the Blues. Come on, Nico. Come on, Oscar. Bye-bye.